Had a great day yesterday. I had a fantastic day that I spent with Sterling Valentine and the One Day Intensive Mastermind. And then the evening at the Impact School of Marketing, we had a great guest speaker. Brandon Olson from AWeber came in, taught us all about advanced email marketing. It was a good day, long day. Hey, great to see you here this morning. So fantastic to see people up and at 'em and awake this morning. So I learned a lot of good lessons at the mastermind, which, usually I learn lots of good lessons at a mastermind. There are fantastic things to learn every single day. I've been doing masterminds for over a decade now, and I learned something new every day. Hey, Fred, good to see you up so early this morning. Fantastic to see you. I guess I'll see you again later today. Excuse me. Fred and I have been spending a lot of time together. I love that. He's a dynamic young entrepreneur, a great real estate investor. He's also the student liaison at investor schooling. So fantastic resource. If you get a chance to meet him in person, you should do that. He spent the entire day with me yesterday doing amazing things with amazing people. So I just wanted to kind of go through a little bit of some of the things that I was reminded of. Every time that I get together with great minds, I am reminded of different things that sometimes I think I already know, but it's always good to have that reminder. And the first reminder that I think about is the real value of a mastermind is that you get to utilize the collective brain, what I call the collective brain. Now, the collective brain means that basically working together, we can do so much more than we ever could apart. I used to do an exercise at my events where I would actually show a slide up on the screen, and I would have people look at it, and I would ask them, what's the insight that you can get? What is the one thing that makes this slide important, or what is the one thing that you recognize about this slide? And everybody would look and they'd study, and they come up with different things or ideas or theories about what it was. But it really was really rare when somebody did it. As a matter of fact, out of 100 to 150 people, one person would see that insight, that one thing that was true. And then as soon as one person pointed it out, it was very, very easy to see. That's the way the collective brain works. That's the way that we create magic. Hey, Larry Steinhaus, great to see you this morning. Spent the day with Larry too. So Fred's up, Larry's up. Hey, John's up. Great to see you, John. John is starting a powerful new startup. He's an amazing filmmaker. He's doing all kinds of interesting stuff. So we've got some great people up and at 'em this morning. So the first thing that I learned or try to remember about a mastermind is that we have the collective brain there, that working together we can see so many more insights than we ever could by ourselves. And where one person in 100 might pick something out, it's easy once you know it, when you're in the right direction, or you see the insight, you say, oh, why didn't I think of that? And people were doing that all day long yesterday. They're thinking, oh, wow, that seems so simple, it seems so easy to execute on. Why didn't I think of that? Well, it's not because you aren't smart. It's not because you aren't brilliant. It's not because you aren't intelligent. It's just because there's so many distractions. There's so many things going on in our heads. And sometimes, we can't sort out the gold from the garbage. And so when you're, 3 feet away from the gold, sometimes if somebody just points it out and says, hey, there's a glimmer over there, maybe you should head that way, then that's something that we can do. So the first thing that I like to remember when I think about masterminds is remember to utilize the collective brain. Remember that you don't have to sit alone in a basement like I did for so many years, trying to think everything up myself. so many days I would get up and I would be struggling with a programming problem, and I just say, I cannot believe this. This is the way it's supposed to work. I don't see anything wrong with this code, but it's just not working. All I'm getting is this stupid thing that says syntax error. It doesn't tell me anything else. I don't get it. And then I'd post that code up on a forum or something like that, and I'd say, what is going on? Because this thing isn't working for me. And somebody would point out and say, there's a weird comma right there, right? And my brain every single time would skip over that comma, because we see mostly what we expect to see. We program our results in our head, and we say, well, it's supposed to look like this, so it must look like this, so I guess it does look like this. But sometimes it doesn't look that way, and if somebody else is looking at it, they can say, no, it isn't. That's a comma, and it's out of place. And you just ignored the fact that there's a comma there, and you did it over and over again, no matter how many times you do that. Copywriters, proofers, when they're reading over a copy, often miss the same mistakes. That's why we have to have somebody else look at our work to get fresh eyes on it. So number one, remember to utilize the collective brain. Number two, decide what you think you want to do and what you think you want the outcome to be. So many people come to a mastermind, they don't really have any idea where they want to go or what they want to do. It seems like the world is full of possibilities. There are so many possibilities that we could go in so many directions every single day. And as was pointed out in the mastermind, if you're an intelligent person, if you're really bright or you're really, really talented, the problem is multiplied. So a lot of times very, very smart people don't get the results they want because although they're very, very intelligent, it gives them so many more options. So how do you decide what you want to do and what you think the outcome should be? And I usually have people start off with the basics, and the basics are, what do you want to do when you get up in the morning? You know, my wife loves to go out and garden in the garden and pull weeds, and she loves the sunshine, and I would be aching, every bone in my body would be aching in about 5 minutes. The heat would be coming down on me. I'd be sweating like a pig, and I'd be miserable in about 5 minutes while she loves that. So figure out what you want to do. Do you want to work with people? Do you want to be on a stage? Do you want to be on a telephone? Some people love to be on a telephone all day long. I don't particularly love being on a telephone all day long. You know, that's not my idea of a thrilling day. I'd rather spend time with you in person or connect with you one-on-one. Some people want to be up on that stage. Some people think that would be the most terrifying and awful thing in the world. Ruth Ann Wood, so great to see you dropping by. It's a fantastic day, and I'm just talking about a little bit about what I learned from the mastermind, or at least was reminded about. So decide what you think you want to do and what you think the outcome should be, and then don't necessarily lock into that like that's the only outcome in life, but you need a direction. So take a direction to start out with, and you can call it your candidate direction if you want to. We had yesterday, we were asking about what's your candidate question that you want to ask the group. And that means for the moment, right now, in this moment, what do you think that question should be? So next is to understand why you want to do it. Because sometimes the reasons why we want to do something are not the best reasons in the world. And if we are really clear on why you want to do it, then you'll have a much better handle on whether or not you should do it or not. And you get to choose. No, don't let anybody else should on you. You know, you should do this, you should do that, you should be making better use of your time, you should not be relaxing like that, you should be taking action. Well, maybe you should just be sitting back and relaxing and doing nothing and thinking about it, because thinking is something that we do a lot of scattered thinking, but why not focus thinking on exactly where you want to go and what you want to do and what you want the outcome to be. Take that time to do that hard work up front. That's what we did in the mastermind, and Sterling Valentine led us through that so efficiently and so well. Sometimes it's hard. That's the hard question. Sometimes the best question is, you know, what's the question I should be asking? You know, so If you don't know what the question is, maybe that's the best question. Find out what you want to ask. So number 4 is figure out what your most important question is for right now. It doesn't have to be the most important question for the rest of your life, but what's the one you want to focus on right this second? Because we basically are lousy multitaskers. We think we're really good multitaskers. We think we can put 20 projects up in the air and stuff like that, but there's always a lag time. There's always that switching from one project to the other, mind reset, and we think that we're really efficient at it. But if you actually test human beings about how well they multitask, the truth is we don't do it very well. What we can do is we can take things one step at a time and do them sequentially. We can accomplish lots of things if you segment and you partition your life into different areas and execute in those areas in an efficient way. Then you can be very effective. So you need to be doing a couple of things. So you need to be taking a look at your time and resources. Gordon, so great to see you. Shirley Lowell, my word, great to see you. Michael, great people on this call, on this Facebook Live. So yeah, you've got to understand what your most important question is for right now. You have to understand your time and resources. We all have limited time and resources. Right now, that's a huge problem for me. I'm doing about 4 different things that are kind of my major focuses. It would be nice if there was only one major focus, but there's 4. So I've got the Impact Factor movie. That's a huge full-time job. I could be just focusing on that and I wouldn't have any trouble using up all of my time. But we're also kicking off the Impact School of Marketing, which is a huge opportunity. And it's a great synergistic project that is working really well with everything else that we are doing. And the third part also fits in there really well, which is investor schooling. I'm helping them with their marketing and expanding their business there because we work together in conjunction with investor schooling to build up the base of both projects when we do that work together. So I've got 3 major business projects that are going on right this instant. They could all be full-time jobs. What resources do I have to bring to each one of those projects? And my 4th project, and not to put it in that order, is I've got to dedicate time for family and time to be rejuvenated. We get worn down. We can get all caught up in the doing part of just taking action after action after action, not take the time to refresh our life, to build those relationships that really matter over time, to support our family and friends in the times that they need it. And that takes time, and it takes resources, and it takes energy. So you need to understand what your time and resources are. Number 1, there's 24 hours in a day for everybody, whether you're the President of the United States and you have to run umpteen different departments and heads and fight off your competitors and all those kinds of things, or if you're just working a 9-to-5 job, you still only have 24 hours in the day. So some ways are more effective than others, excuse me, when you go to leverage your time and resources. And usually what that involves is looking for the one thing that will make everything else so much easier. Maybe that's to find an assistant. Maybe that's to get some funding. Maybe that's that leverage point is to offload tasks, to remove things from your life. So many times we think about adding more resources and time and stuff like that. Maybe we cut out things that are dragging on our time and our resources. So we cut off those clients that are not really working that well for us, that are taking lots of time and not providing lots of purpose and satisfaction for you, or lots of income for you. Hey, Ermilo, so great to see you. Blessings on you too. Great group of people today. So start looking for that one thing that's going to make everything else so more effective, and then start executing on that over and over again. So choose the first best step, execute on it, then the step that we so many times forget. Weber was really, Brandon Olson from AWeber was really pointing out this a lot last night when we were talking about advanced testing. So many people don't test their results. The truth is there's so many variables in the world, so many different options that we have, so many different directions that we could go. When you get expert advice, even from people who have the experience and the knowledge, so many times they can't tell you. So when you go to an expert, they can give you the general trends, they can give you what's worked for them, and that can shortcut the process and make things a heck of a lot easier for you and help you to avoid mistakes. But it doesn't give you the answers about whether this headline is going to work over that headline, or whether this technique is going to bring in more people, or that technique is going to bring in more people, because the people change, the messages change, the times change, the economic conditions change, the weather changes, everything changes all the time. So the only way that we can find out exactly what's working right now is to start doing something, do it in enough volume to get a valid test, and then to actually look at the results and then refine that, So take a best candidate for what converts for you, what brings people into your events, or what attracts people to your ideas, products, and services, and then compete against that continually. What can I do to make this better? But always testing to see which one is actually producing for you. Number 9, reflect and breathe. So many times we're just on that constant treadmill going over and over and over and over again. And we need to take the time to just relax and be. Maybe you're doing that through something like meditation, or maybe you're doing that by taking a walk, or having physical exercise, or having some kind of activity that focuses your mind back on a different thing. Maybe you just get exhausted, you run up and down stairs until you just collapse and get a good night's sleep. You shut off the brain, and then you re-kickstart when you're rested, and you re-kickstart when your brain has had time to unload, and start over again at step 1. Step number 1 is remember to utilize the collective brain. Step 2, decide what you think you want to do and what you think you want the outcome to be. Number 3, understand why you want to do it. Number 4, figure out your most important question for right now. Number 5, understand your time and resources. Number 6, understand the most effective ways to leverage your time and resources. Number 7, choose the best first step. Number 8, execute, test, and refine. Number 9, reflect and breathe. And then let's do it all again. So I hope that is helpful for you. That's a few of the things I was reminded of. There were many, many more at the Mastermind, because Masterminds really help us to zone in on what's important, and to see that we're asking the right questions and what we can possibly do. It was a great example of that. We're beating the odds. So many people are looking at the odds. You've beat the odds from the very beginning. I like to say that the odds were at least 1 billion to 1 that you even exist. Hey, Sean, so great to see you. Nick, so great to see you. Dan Buglio joined us. Wow, we have a great illustrative group here. Brilliant group. So I was talking about masterminds and all the things that we learned from the mastermind, and the ways that we work together. So you've already beat like 1 billion to 1 odds just by existing. It took a whole long chain of events for hundreds and thousands of years to even have you show up on this planet. So it's amazing to realize what you've been through and what would have stopped you along the way if that hadn't happened to you. And know that you are already a winner, that you're already at the top of the heap. And when we hear odds and we think about, the odds are not so good that you can be successful. I had somebody that emailed me yesterday and was going, "What are you doing? You're just going for piddly amounts and whatever." The odds are not all that good in your favor if you're just looking at odds. So out of all of the projects on Kickstarter, all of the film projects on Kickstarter, grand total after the entire history. That's like 10 years worth of Kickstarter being the top crowdfunding campaign website on the internet. They've only they've only funded a total of 4,332 video and film projects that have been funded over the $20,000 level. That's not very many when you think of how many launch projects. There are over 400,000 launched projects, you know. Over $4 billion have actually been pledged for projects, but only 4,332 film projects got funded over $20,000. You know, funding on Kickstarter is kind of all or nothing in more ways than one. While 13% of the projects finished never having a single pledge. So out of all the projects, 13% of them never even got one person to, you know, not their mom. Nobody stepped up to the plate. If you put in the work, if you do the homework, if you really get to it, you are much more likely to have success than that, right? So many people go out there and they dream about doing things, but they never take the actions. They never put the study in. They never put the work in. We've been working for 4 years on the Impact Factor film project, and we want to raise at least 30% in advance of the crowdfunding campaign. Well, guess what the statistics say? You know, despite the fact that 13% of projects finished having never received a single pledge, 78% of projects that raised more than 20% of their goal were successfully launched. And if you raise 30% of your goal, then about 90% were successfully funded. So here's where we're at right now. Right now, we've got $12,513 in pledges, which if you said, you know, we had to get pledges to the 30% level, that would enable us to launch a $41,000 campaign, which surpasses, by the way, our initial goal, which was $30,000. 52 people actually have stepped up to the plate, because we had 51 that pledged to invest on the first day. But since we went over to $10,000, if those pledges actually come in, Larry Steinhaus is going to add another $1,500, and that would take us all the way up to $14,000, over $14,000, which means that we could launch a $46,000 campaign. So that makes a grand total of 52 people that have already pledged. And the average pledge, by the way, is up now to $269.48, which is way, way, way above the average that typically happens on Kickstarter. It's much, much lower than that, under $100 normally. But at this current level, it only takes 4 more people to step up to the plate to get us to $15,000, which would mean Ruth Ann Wood promises to add another $1,000, and that would up it again. We could be over a $50,000 campaign if that happened. So that's a good chance for success. That's something that's really exciting about what we're doing. That would put us in the rarefied, you know, the top 1% of all crowdfunding campaigns. So when people tell you, you know, why are you doing this piddly little thing, or why don't you just go out and you know, fund this yourself or something like that? Well, working together, we can do so much more than we can apart. That's what the collective brain is all about. That's what working together. And crowdfunding is not just about raising money. It's also about raising awareness and building an audience for people. Because if you put out a movie and nobody sees it, what good is that, right? What fun is that, by the way, you know? So we're excited about that. We got an open casting call that's going on right now. If you want to be in the film, you can go to impactfactormovie.com/casting and get all the details. You can take a look at the script. It may not be what you're expecting. I did get some emails and notes about that, it wasn't exactly what they expected. And that's a good thing, you know, because we're about to go out there. It's not all feel good. This is real world. This is we make a difference whether we want to or not, and those impacts can be either positive or negative. And that's why I'm doing this movie. I want people to know that they have an impact. I want them to know that they can make a difference. I know that they can beat the odds because the odds are not very high. Most people are not doing very much on the earth, and we could do so much more to have that impact. Just by existing, you impact thousands of people, but with the leveraging of art, science, and technology, we can impact millions. Every single person on the earth has that power. I really believe that. We've already scheduled our next mastermind. So if you miss this one for some ungodly reason, you should be there on June 5th. It's Wednesday, June 5th. We'll be here all day focused on your projects. Fantastic opportunities. Sterling Valentine is a sterling leader of these things. He's an amazing intellect. He's a great, great manager of people. He brought out the very, very best in us, and we work together in a very effective way to take everybody's project to as high as we could possibly do that. And we're doing this with the students at Impact School of Marketing over a long-term kind of a basis. So what we have here at the Impact School of Marketing is a 6-month program of masterminds and bringing in world-class instructors and personal mentoring for me, at least until I run out of this precious time resource. I'm not sure, to be honest with you, how much longer that's going to last because we're running out of Ken McArthur and time with the movie kicking off and everything that's going on. But for right now, I'm still mentoring people because I love doing it. And if you want to be part of that, it's only $9.97 for a 6-month program of mentoring and classroom instruction and building relationships to work together. And you can keep going. You can re-up after that. So become part of the family and learn what we're doing here and get involved. If you're not a student here at the Impact School of Marketing, you could still come to the mastermind and get kind of a peek. It only costs $97 for non-students to go to the mastermind. It's on June 5th, so just join in, see what this is all about, see what the community is about, see what these brilliant thinkers are doing and how they're building up lives and having an impact. If you're a speaker, an author, a coach, or if you're a film producer, or you're anybody who's trying to get your ideas, products, and services out to the masses, if you're leading a movement, if you're leading a nonprofit operation or a corporation, if you're a leader of any kind, you want to be here because this will help you to think about what's going to be really important and why you're doing it and what you want to do. And you can, discover all the techniques, the knowledge, the experience, the insights around building a mass audience and figure out how to leverage all kinds of different media channels to get your message out there. So we'd love to have you join us. You can RSVP right on the page at Impact School of Marketing. Just go down there and hit the register button, sign up, and let us know that you're coming to that. You can come to the evening instruction, which starts at 7 o'clock as my personal guest. So if you just want to attend a class in the evening, come by and attend a class. I'm not sure exactly what the topic is on the next classroom. We're still deciding that. But every single time it's been world-class instruction. We just had Weber down to talk about email automation and marketing. We've had David Hancock, a great publisher from Morgan James Publishing, came in to talk about book publishing. We had the amazing Sterling Valentine that did a great presentation on basically finding the key to your life. How do you find those key elements that are so important? And then, of course, you want to join our Impact School of Marketing Facebook group and be part of that community. Join in there and see what we're doing and get invested in other people because they'll get invested in you. And speaking about investing, you can learn about investing. We're having a class tonight at 7 p.m. If you're interested in real estate investing and you're interested in stock options trading, you can come down here. These classes are great for people who want to learn about real estate investing and stock options trading. You can get in as my personal guest, attend a live class that our students have paid hard, cold dollars for. And you get to come in as my personal guest. It's no pitch. It's just great instruction. You do need to register at investorschooling.com and come and see us, But drop by tonight. It starts at 7 o'clock here in the suburbs of Philadelphia in Bucks County, and we would love to see you there. So let me just recap really quickly. I started out with a few lessons from the One Day Intensive Mastermind, and those lessons are this. Remember that doing things together, and we can do so much more than we ever could apart. Remember to utilize the collective brain of all the people around you that want to support you, because we don't all have the insights, we don't have all the knowledge, but we can utilize the collective brain to have so many more. Decide what you think you want to do and what you think you want the outcome to be. Understand why you want to do it. Figure out what your most important question is for right now. It doesn't have to be the most important question for the rest of your life, but the one that's most important right now. Understand what your time and resources are. Understand the most effective ways to leverage that time and those resources. Choose the best first step. Execute, test, and refine, then reflect and breathe, and then start it all over again from step one. We're beating the odds every day here at the Impact School of Marketing, and with the Impact Factor movie, I'm excited about the possibilities of what goes on. I want you to have an impact. I'm excited about the movie and all of the things that are going on at the crowdfunding campaign and all of the good stuff that we're doing to teach people that they have a choice. I'm excited about the Impact School of Marketing. I'm excited about what's going on here, because we're building a huge community of amazing people. We've got great classrooms that we can operate from. We've got world-class instruction. I mean, just to give you an idea, Sterling Valentine,
Ken McArthur,
amazing
give him a big round of applause.
student. So here's an example.
I would not be here without him. I might not even be alive without him.
That you get to see at the Impact School of Marketing. We would love to see you here, and come and see us. Spend time with us. You will have an experience that you'll never forget. Hey, Matt's here. So great to see you. Demetrius, it was so fantastic to spend the day with you. I was just recapping a bunch of the things that we had lessons from the One Day Intensive Mastermind. If anybody missed this, I'll post the link for the replay. I had some key things that I thought that I gained, and I was reminded out of the mastermind. I hope that more and more people will get involved. We had a bunch of people. Hey, Helen dropped by. So great to see you. So fantastic to have this community of caring people going out there and having an impact in the world. Go out there, do the good stuff, as Joel Kahn would say. Make an impact in the world. It's the small things that make a biggest difference. And you make a difference every single day, whether you want to or not. So make that impact positive, and make it leverage. Take all the art, science, and technology that we have and make that impact big, because this world needs more good stuff. Have a great day, everybody.